Shove it, squad. Did you know that WCW did a tour of Australia whilst it was almost on its deathbed? This tour came at a really strange time for WCW. It was starting to become known that WCW was in serious financial trouble and the company was being touted around for a sale just before this tour. Now this would be a well-attended tour for the starved Australian wrestling fans, even if they were watching a company on its deathbed. It looked like WCW might actually turn a profit for a change on this tour, but for some asinine reason, a term was inserted into the contract that WCW would buy back any unsold seats in the arena across the 4 shows they were to hold. This blunder ended up costing them $400,000. In other news, Juventud Guerrera also damaged the company's reputation as he was puffing on Sherm and ended up brawling with police and breaking a female police officer's ribs, then he got fired. A lot of the big stars were missing from WCW by this time, so the Australian fans would have to contend with weak cards for these 4 shows. And today, we'll be looking at one of these 4 shows, which was a Patreon request by Magpie's Nest Productions. If you want to make the Hawk talk, sign up today. We have 10,000 Aussies in attendance for Thunder Down Under. Thunder starts out like any good show should start out with Steiner screaming who's in charge tonight. Apparently it's Sanders. Shane Douglas with Tori are the first 2 out. Don't you just love him? He looks like a deformed version of SpongeBob SquarePants. He threatens Conrad and says he'll fight him at the pay-per-view. Tori Wilson calls Australia a hellhole of a country. Lance Storm and a miserable looking Major Guns walk out. Storm points out that Australia was formed by convicts and con men. Then as he does, he stands intently still for the Canadian national anthem. This will be a tag match with Douglas and Storm taking on Hugh Morris and Conrad. They're doing well until Lance Storm flies into the ring with a diving smash. Douglas boots him in the gut and hits a running knee and a dropkick. Conrad is getting destroyed as he's nailed with a dropkick from Storm. Major Guns turns on Lance Storm and trips him up so Conrad can hit a clothesline. We get an incredible 3-way cat fight, also featuring Tigress. Hugh Morris is now running wild on Storm. He has it won with a splash, but the ref is distracted. Douglas weakly snaps his neck, so he realises he needs to do something better and hits a DDT. Billy Kidman rushes the ring and takes out Douglas with an Umbrella. That sets up Morris to hit the no laughing matter moonsault. What a chaotic opener. In the back, Sean Stasiak is asking Mike Sanders if Scott Steiner can fight Booker T tonight. Sanders refuses that as they're due to fight on pay-per-view, but he does say Booker T will be softened up tonight. Everyone is afraid to speak to Scott Steiner. Oh no, not the cat. You can't watch this period of WCW without the cat being all over the show, and over 2 decades later, I still can't work out why he was. The cat brings out an Australian karate champion, Sam Greco, who is apparently now a WCW superstar. If you're wondering why it is you've never heard of Sam Greco, it's because they signed him and hyped him before he'd even finished his wrestling training. And by October 2000, WCW wouldn't be around much longer. He speaks like he's been a children's entertainer for most of his life. He does the Aussie thing over and over again, you know, that old chestnut is so boring, it's like a punch to the gut every time you hear it. He admits that nobody in America even knows who he is. He drones on and on for ages with the crowd chanting boring. He wants to make Australia proud, but he's doing a bad job. A horrible promo. The Natural Born Thrillers interrupt, and I never thought I'd be happy to see those guys. Sanders wants to know who gave the cat the ability to hire people. Cat replies saying he hired his mum last night. That might be true, Cat, but it doesn't really answer the question, does it? These 2 warring authority figures insult each other for a bit. The Cat wants Sanders to face the comedy team, while Sanders wants the Cat to face Kevin Nash. There's one issue though, Nash hasn't arrived yet. Vintage Kevin Nash. The Cat reveals he has even more power than Sanders and decides to make him face Sting instead of the commentary team. Stasiak tries to attack, but he gets his head kicked off by Greco. You know, it doesn't matter where or when you watch WCW, there will always be feuding authority figures. In the back, Sanders gives his guys a pep talk. They all make fun of Stasiak for a bit, but it's not funny. The tag titles will be on the line next. The champions are Sean O'Hare and Mark Jindrak. They take on Chavo Guerrero and Lash LaRue, but they don't get an entrance. Within literally 10 seconds, Sean O'Hare causes a distraction so Jindrak can hit a slam. He also does a monkey flip into Sean O'Hare's clothesline. Chavo takes him out of a middle rope dive. Lash has the tag. He does a drop toe hold into Chavo's basement dropkick. O'Hare then catches Lash, but still can't do anything as Chavo boots the pile over. Someone else is loudly screaming boring. The smaller guys continue double teaming for a 2 count. It's funny that Chavo as a heel just brings out his personality so much more. He's very bland and generic here. O'Hare eventually jawbreakers him and tags out. The heels hit a big double hip toss to Chavo. Jindrak's getting cocky, but he shouldn't bother as Chavo hits a tornado DDT. Both men tag out. The Cajun now hits a DDT, although straight away Jindrak turtle wheel side slams him back. Chavo isn't finished in this match and does a missile dropkick. The ref has completely lost control of this match. Jindrak impressively jumps into a Frankensteiner on Lash. O'Hare can't finish him with a dive as Chavo takes him out, and he also hits a diving frog splash. Shawn does manage to break up the pin though. Chavo stops another double team as Lash does a Hurricanrana pin to Jindrak. Surprisingly, it's over and we've got new tag team champion. But Mike Sanders is a known dick and says the former champions have a rematch clause, and that rematch is now. Straight away they do double schoolboys but only get a 2. They keep going and throw Lash into an O'Hare slam. The ref can only count another 2. The crowd are loudly chatting bullshit with the audio constantly getting muted. I never understood why some wrestling shows do this and others just don't care about that chant. O'Hare superkicks Chavo as Lash does a crossbody on Shawn for a 2. This is non-stop action. Chavo now nails a diving kick. Nobody is selling anything here, this ref is useless too. There's an ugly moment now, I have no idea what's going on in this match. Lash is about to be beaten with a belt shot but Chavo breaks up the pin. Shawn O'Hare just doesn't care and he hits the Swanton Bomb for the 3. Dude, I was watching WCW Thunder Down Under the other day, man. And this dude, Shawn O'Hare, he stole my Swanton Bomb finishing maneuver, man. And they stole the belts. Man, I'm going back to North Carolina. And I'm going to tell my stoner friend Shannon all about you, Shawn O'Hare, man. I just don't know what to say. That was one of the most chaotic, hard-to-follow matches in WCW history. And what a title reign for Chavo and Lash. Sergeant A-Hole kills the Natural Born Thrillers with power moves and everyone goes home happy. Except the Hawk. The Hawk's never happy. Elix Skipper is in the back, screaming it's my house. He threatens Billy Kidman in the typical non-threatening way that we're used to for Elix Skipper. Elsewhere backstage, Mike Sanders tells Chuck Palumbo that he is good enough to break Goldberg's streak. Try saying that with a straight face. Palumbo dumps his nappy affair and doesn't believe that he's good enough. The world champion Booker T will be the next man out. He insults Scott Steiner. Booker looks knackered like he has jet lag or something. He's going to be in a handicap match against Chronic. It's an ugly start to the match. They smash Booker out of the ring where the beatdown continues. Booker is sent into the crowd fence before the match returns to the ring. He attempts a comeback which fails and he eats a full Nelson slam for a 2. He then manages to dodge in the corner and hits a spin kick and the scissors kick. The ref somehow gets bumped in all that chaos. He celebrates for too long and Bryan Adams smacks him down. They're about to kill off Booker with the high times, but Goldberg's music hits. Brian Clark eats a spear. Adams manages to fight off the bookend, but Goldberg and Booker both kick him as the referee wakes up. He DQs Booker for Goldberg's interference. Chuck Palumbo's nappy is on the verge of collapse as he says his goodbyes to his mum on the phone. Elsewhere, Kevin Nash has now arrived halfway into the show. He isn't sweating anything tonight. On the subject of Nash, don't you ever think it's weird that all the WCW top stars abandoned the company but Nash still stuck around? I mean, for all the hate Nash gets, can't we give him some credit for that at least? Out now, it's Billy Kidman. He's facing off with Elix Skipper who has Hacksaw Jim Duggan with him. Kidman gets us started for dropkick and a head scissors. He sends Skipper for the ring, who tries to get some wise words from Hacksaw, but Kidman dives on them. Moments later, it's Kidman who takes a tumble to the outside and Skipper hits him with a corkscrew plancher. Back in the ring, Skipper tries one of his Matrix moves, which Kidman reverses with a simple stomp to the gut. The match trundles along for a while. Skipper misses a diving elbow drop. Check out this shut up or I'll smack you one from Kidman though. He gets a 2 count off a bulldog before losing the advantage once again with Skipper nailing a dragon suplex. Billy Kidman isn't hurt and he gets his own 2 count. He tries to crossbody Skipper out the ring or something, but they botch it. Instead, Skipper does the rope walk Hurricanrana. Yet another 2. Billy Kidman responds by dropping him on his face. He looks for the shooting star, but Duggan smacks him with a stick as Skipper takes the ref. Elix Skipper beats Kidman with the play of the week. Big win for Elix Skipper right there. I have to say that in-ring action is much better than you would expect for this period of WCW. In the back, Chuck Palumbo has had an underwear change and he's now getting advice from Mummy. He's feeling better about his match with Goldberg due to her. It feels like they're going with a Mummy's Boy gimmick for Palumbo. Apparently his mum told him to run from Goldberg. Up next, it's the Lava Lamp Lounge, hosted by that 70s guy Mike Awesome. The music is so loud that you can't even hear him. This is ridiculous. Not sure if it's just my version that I'm watching, but I'm not exaggerating. The music just keeps playing loudly for like 5 minutes. You can't hear a word. Kwee-Wee and Paisley are his pointless guests. Something upsets the Kwee-Wee, and then he's jumped by Johnny the Bull. The music finally stops. The Harris twins beat up Mike Awesome, and what a segment that was. Kevin Nash is confused why Mike Sanders is wrestling Sting tonight. So am I, Kevin. So am I. Palumbo with Stasiak out next. He's taken on Bill Goldberg. It goes about as well as you could have expected for Chuck Palumbo. Goldberg only takes some moves because he smacks Palumbo so hard that he hurts his own hand. Palumbo hits a DDT and tries a flying shoulder block, which is just shrugged off. Stasiak climbs in the ring, gets speared, and so does Palumbo. Goldberg jackhammers him to end the match in 30 seconds. What a load of rubbish. They've hyped this thing up with multiple segments throughout the night. He also jackhammers Stasiak and pins him for a 3, even though he wasn't part of the match. Goldberg is determined to beat his previous streak. He's only on 7-0, he has a very long way to go. If you're wondering, no, he never made it. Out now, not the cat again. He's here to do commentary and apparently keep calling Mark Madden Fat Boy. You can't hate on that one. Mike Sanders taking on the Icon Sting. It seems like it's yet another mismatch, but a surfing Slapnuts appears.
Jeff Jarrett.
He is the Surfer Sting. This was actually a great idea to get heat from the crowd. They hate Slappy even more than usual. He says it's showtime and tries to lie down for Sanders, but then Slappy keeps changing his mind and sitting up. The bell does eventually ring, and then the real Icon appears and he beats up Slapnuts while Sanders cowers in fear. What a moron, he's wasting a 2-on-1 advantage. Jarrett is cleared from the ring and Sanders starts smashing Sting with his bat. He locks Sting in a sleeper which doesn't work. Sting starts smacking Sanders around the ring and drops him on the ropes, nutsack first. Stinger splashes him back down and also hits one to his back. He finishes him off with a Scorpion Death Drop and it's another match which didn't go much longer than a minute. Feels like a bit of a rip-off for the wrestling-starved Australian fans. Sanders complains in the back to the Natural Born Thrillers. Kevin Nash looks out of shape here. As if it couldn't get any worse for the Australian fans, the Harris twins are out next. They face Mike Awesome and Crowbar for some reason. I'm not sure what he has to do with any of this. It's a sort of hardcore match where they're barely in the ring. Crowbar takes the Harris twins out of a dropkick through the ropes, and he also helps Mike Awesome hit a flying double clothesline out of the ring. We do finally get in the ring where one of the Harris twins hit a spinning side slam to Crowbar. Another Harris twin hits a corner clothesline and thinks he's going to hit another, but Crowbar just collapses. Instead, the Harris twins hit him with a double flapjack. One of them does a gut-wrench suplex for a 2. Eventually, Crowbar does a jawbreaker, but instead of tagging out, he runs into a sidewalk slam for another 2. It's not going well for him as the Harris twins hit a double big boot. But then, out of nowhere, Crowbar springs off the ropes and moonsaults them both. Awesome is finally tagged. The Harris boys won't get out of the ring. Awesome can't do a thing. He manages to reverse a powerbomb and he hits an Alabama slam. No pin is made and instead a table is introduced. Awesome tries a powerbomb which is broken up and he eats DDT. They want to send Awesome for a corner table, but Crowbar returns and he uses a chair. The other Harris twin kicks it into his face and he flies off the apron. That distraction's enough to help Mike Awesome win with a back body drop through a table. I actually enjoyed this match the most on the show, but damn, Mike Awesome could hardly manage a thing here. It's hard to get behind a guy who doesn't do much. Scott Steiner is out next. His promo is one of the better things on the show. It's just talking about slaying Australian girls though. He's taken on Rey Mysterio. This one seems like kind of a random mismatch on paper, but at the same time I do love both of these guys. Steiner is all fired up and he presses Mysterio above his head for reps. Steiner slides him out of the ring like a greased up seal. The push-ups show that Steiner isn't sweating this one. Back in the ring, Mysterio dodges the Steiner line with a 619 and a dropkick before Steiner flattens him back down again. Nice exchange right there. We soon get another nice exchange as Steiner throws him out of the ring but Rey holds on. Steiner's busy doing push-ups again when Rey springboard leg drops him. It's Mysterio with a head scissors now and a wheelbarrow bulldog. His arrogance is punished though as Steiner catches his next dive and suplexes him. Steiner punctuates that by crushing Rey with a slam for the middle rope, but he puts on the Steiner recliner and the match ends via tap out. Very nice match, both guys were brilliant here. Mike Sanders has a 4th or 5th appearance on this show, and so does the Cat. These warring general managers must be stopped. Neither of them is exactly popular. The Cat will be in the main event match against Kevin Nash. He looks like he doesn't want to be here. Straight away, Sanders causes a distraction as if Nash somehow needs that to help get the advantage over the Cat. Nash decides he wants a test of strength, but the Cat is apparently not stupid. He starts throwing kicks and actually manages to knock Nash down and get a couple of 2 counts. He hits a break-dancing splits chop to the throat for another 2. Nash has had enough now and he hits the big boot. Sanders then randomly smacks the Cat of a chair even though Nash was winning. The ref throws the match out. Kevin Nash wants to powerbomb him on the chair now, but it's Booker T to the rescue. Scott Steiner also runs out, and Sting, and Slapnuts. It's like they decided to try and squeeze everyone with any possible name value all into the same segment. To punctuate that, Goldberg comes out to the ring. Chronic also hit the ring to attack Goldberg. They're about to hit high times on him, but then the show goes off the air before they can do it. Typical WCW right there. So ultimately, it's about what you would expect from a WCW show at this time. The wrestling quality wasn't actually that bad, it had improved, believe it or not. But there was just so many characters on this show that shouldn't have been it. Natural born thrillers all over the show, and whilst the Hawk doesn't have a problem with these guys, they always had multiple segments and had too much camera time. Nothing out of the ordinary was attempted, these were run-of-the-mill shows. when they really should have been trying to dig themselves out of trouble. Many Australian fans who attended these shows thought they sucked, and whilst it's not the worst episode of WCW I've ever seen, it's a show which perfectly represents this company's incompetence, and if you don't agree with that, you're just a bunch of cunts.